Today we're going to find out what would happen if the monkeys went on strike in BTD5. This means that I can only use towers that function independently of them, like the tack shooter and the bomb tower. I want to give a quick shout out to Shy Guy, Mask, and Subchub, as they both have videos where they've beaten every BTD game without monkeys, but when it came to BTD5, they used beginner maps. So my goal today is to see just how difficult of a map I can beat without any help from a single monkey. And if you've been enjoying the recent content, I'd really appreciate a subscription, as only around 6% of people who watch currently are. Now I don't want to start off with a map that's way too difficult and embarrass myself, so I'll go with the advanced map called Day of the Undead, which probably should be put into intermediate if we're being honest. Now I have to think about which of my non-monkey towers would be best to start with. The tack shooter could be decent in this curve, but it would probably miss at least a few of the balloons early on, and I'm playing on impoppable, which means I can't lose any lives at all. Starting off with a bomb tower or a balloon shipper as your first tower is just a bad idea honestly, because they both attack too slowly. So that leaves us with the spike factory. I'm just gonna put it back as far as I can, and like I said before, Day of the Undead is definitely one of the easiest advanced maps in the game, considering it has a pretty long track and only one path to defend, both of which are a huge advantage for our spike factory here. My goal is to save up for a farm now, which is $1,200. I just can't use any banana farmers to collect the bananas for me, as those are definitely monkeys. This 0-0 spike factory is really holding things down, which allowed me to save up the necessary money to get my first farm, along with upgrading it into a 1-0. But I can tell the balloons are about to overrun the factory now, so I've got to go for the bigger stacks upgrade. I really thought these blue balloons were about to take me out before I could even afford it, but somehow we barely survived. Now with the factory as a 1-0, I can focus on farming again. Let me upgrade this farm into a 2-0, which will more than double its income production. Once again though, the balloons are getting too strong for the spike factory, so now I'm going to get the faster production upgrade. With that, I can save up for my second farm, and I gotta say, this run is off to a pretty good start. I figured I would get the white hot spikes upgrade, which the factory needs in order to pop lead balloons, just a bit early, so I don't forget about it on round 28. Now I'm gonna take a risk and try upgrading my second farm into a 2-0 before I invest in any more defense, and hopefully the balloons aren't gonna become too intense. Well, I guess I should have realized round 27 was going to end up being a bit too much with all these yellow balloons. So begrudgingly, I have to immediately sell the farm I just bought so that I can get the even faster production upgrade on my spike factory, and I'll use my remaining money to get another 1-0 farm, which is what I should have just kept in the first place. Hopefully the 2-2 factory is enough, because otherwise I'm really going to look like a fool here. Alright, we got past the yellows this time, and the rest of the round just has weaker balloons. Now I think it's safe to upgrade my second farm again, but after that, I definitely want to get the spiked ball upgrade, because that will make this factory substantially more powerful than it already is. I'll also be facing the first ceramic balloons on round 40, and spiked balls do extra damage to those as well. That's especially useful here, because ceramics actually have 50% extra health when you're playing on impoppable mode. This allowed me to get a couple more farms without having to worry about the balloons, and even though I don't need to, I'm going to get a second factory now that I'll work on upgrading while I continue to farm. By the time round 40 came, I had it upgraded into a 3-2 as well, and you can see the first ceramic balloons were absolutely no problem at all. So I'm going to keep on getting more farms, and I'm not exactly sure when it makes sense to sell all your 2-0s and get a 4-2, but I know that point is coming soon. But let's see how these two factories can fare against the round 46 Moab first. Honestly, that wasn't all that bad, but I think I gotta get more defense now because, yeah, round 47 is a little too strong. Thankfully though, I do have $3,000 to work with, so I'll invest that into a 1-1 factory, and it looks like this is just going to barely be enough to make it through the tough part of round 47, so I'm going to upgrade this one into a 3-2 before doing anything else with the farms. For some reason, I didn't immediately get a banana factory after that, but instead, I upgraded a farm into a 3-0 in anticipation of making it a 4-2, and then I got another 3-2 spike factory first. After that though, I did finally sell some 2-0 farms so that I could afford to get my first banana factory. I guess it makes sense that without any monkeys to fight, automated factories are having to take over now. Now that I'm past round 50, I should also start investing in 2-3 bomb towers, because the Moab Mauler upgrade is incredibly powerful against Moab class balloons, especially for its price. You can see they do nothing against the ceramics, but the Moabs are losing a ton of health every time they get hit. Although I should have anticipated what would happen with regrow balloons, as they actually created a regrow farm on round 56 that was able to overrun my Spectries. So I'm gonna sell the Moab Maulers for this round, and then rebuy them after that. I'll also get another Spectry, just in case I need it. That was more than enough to destroy all the regrow rainbows this time, along with the Moabs that followed. Now I'm gonna start filling this little area with the Moab Maulers again, and I should also make sure to start farming some more as well, while I can afford to do so. Round 59 is more intense than I expected, but thankfully, the Spectries did pull through, and now we have the first BFB on round 60, which these Moab Maulers are making pretty good progress on. They did more than enough damage for the Spectries to clean up the rest, but round 61 has a ton of regrows again. And I stupidly got the frag bomb upgrade on all my Moab Maulers, which is the only reason the bomb towers can even pop these regrow zebras in the first place. But I'm gonna try getting the spiked mine upgrades on one of my spike factories and see if that can help out, and it looks like that actually is making the difference here. But I'm also gonna have to be prepared for the round 63 ceramics, and well, clearly I was not. But I just realized something kind of funny. I never bothered activating my spike factory specialist building, which allows all spike factories to pop 50% more balloons than normal. I'm also going to get a 4-2 bomb tower as soon as I can afford it and have it set to strong, as this will give it the balloon impact upgrade. And now that I have it, you can see it's able to stun a good bit of the ceramics, which gives the factories more time to cover the track. This was easily enough to take down round 63 this time, and after that, things are going pretty smoothly. Round 65 hit you with a ton of ceramics, and then 3 Moabs and 2 BFBs, and none of this ended up being an issue whatsoever. And with 4 banana factories, I'm already generating an extra $12,000 per round, so I have plenty of money for more defense and more farms if I want to get them as well. Those 4 banana factories quickly multiplied into 8, and this allowed me to get a bunch of extra Moab Maulers and even a couple more spiked mine factories, which are a very expensive tower for this game. That upgrade alone costs $15,000 on impoppable mode. I can't see any way I could lose now, considering how powerful my defense is. Wait. Round 76 is seriously still too strong? Well fine, I'll get a few more balloon impacts and see if that helps. It's still gonna be close, but I think this is enough, and yeah, we have prevailed this time. Although I'm gonna need to prepare for the camo ceramics on round 78, since bomb towers can't hit those. I considered using a monkey village for a second to give my bomb towers camo detection, because it doesn't technically show a monkey, but like, monkey is literally in the name, so that definitely would be cheating. But once the camo ceramics actually came out, I realized I worried for nothing because they got destroyed by all the spiked mines anyways. Since it came at the end of round 78 instead of the beginning, the track was already way too covered in spikes. Now all I really have to do is continue investing in defense and prepare for the 5 ZOMGs that come out on round 85. Instead of buying a million more Moab Maulers, alright, calm down Dr. Seuss, I'm just going to upgrade all my existing ones into Moab Assassins, which gives them an activated ability that does a ton of damage to Moab class balloons at once. Round 84 is going down well, which is always a good sign, considering it has 50 Moabs and 10 BFBs. But alright, here we go, I'm just going to spam all the abilities at once, and it looks like that basically did the trick. Yeah, there we go. I just beat an advanced map that admittedly is relatively easy without any monkeys. I started looking for more difficult maps that I could attempt the same strategy on when I stumbled upon the perfect candidate, an expert map called Tunnels. As the name suggests, the main gimmick of this map is that the balloons spend a lot of time traveling through, well, tunnels, and they can't be hit when they're inside of them. But you see, the Spike Factory doesn't care about line of sight, so let's see what happens if I try the same strategy I used last time. I'm pretty sure this map is actually a good bit longer than the last one was, so I'm definitely feeling pretty good right now about my chances. In fact, I was able to get my first farm earlier this time, as the balloons weren't getting anywhere close to overpowering the 0-0 Spectre yet. I didn't even have to bother upgrading it until round 18, and I did so here because the green balloons did nearly make it through. But just to really highlight the difference between this map and the last one, last time I failed on round 27 because I upgraded my second farm to a 2-0 instead of upgrading the Spectre to even faster production. Whereas this time, I'm already upgrading my third farm into a 2-0, and the yellow balloons are not making it past the 1-1 Spectre this time either. Of course, I do have to get white hot spikes for the leads that are coming out in a second, but honestly I think the monkey should have quit a long time ago because this is almost going too well. I already had my first banana factory before I even had to face the Moab on round 46, and by round 60, I had 7 of them. Oh, well, actually, make that 8. Last time round 63 did sneak up on me, but this time around, it's gonna get crushed. Same goes for round 65, and by round 76, things have gotten pretty out of hand when it comes to my farms, but the dense wave of regrow ceramic balloons also pose no threat for my army of Spectries. Since I have such a ridiculous amount of money now, I'm gonna upgrade all of them to spiked mines, and I think I have over $1 million worth of towers deployed at this point, not to mention around 100k worth of income generation per round. I never even bothered getting Moab Maulers this time because I just haven't had any need for them. I mean, look at the way round 84 is getting shredded. And sure enough, the ZOMGs move slowly enough to give all these Spectries ample time to completely cover the track and mines, which easily dealt enough damage to shred through all the ZOMGs, allowing us to be an expert map while the monkeys continue their strike. Now I really want to know if this could somehow be possible on an extreme map, so I booted up Main Street to give it a shot. This map has two paths to defend, but they intersect with each other, so if I put a Spectry at that intersection, it should be able to defend both paths. And would you believe me if I told you? No, I'm just kidding, it failed on round 3. But in theory, if I try again, the result could be different, since the Spectry throws down piles randomly. And sure enough, this time, it put them down in the right spot to catch every balloon. The same thing happened on round 5, and then on round 6, and in fact on the second try, I actually had to use one of my free piles of road spikes to keep a green balloon from escaping. So I'm gonna get faster production before getting the bigger stacks upgrade this time, because that should help it to catch more of the balloons. Doing that allowed me to stop losing every other round, so I figured that now I would also get the bigger stacks upgrade, because that one is the best value overall. And hopefully this 1-1 Spectry can hold up for a little bit, because I definitely need to start farming soon if I actually want to have any chance here. Well, so far it's survived another 4 rounds, which has allowed me to save up for my first farm, but just a couple rounds later, it is going to allow a regrow yellow to slip by. When I tried it again, I did need to use another free road spike pile, but then the Spectry kept on going for several more rounds, and I almost had enough saved up for a 2-0 farm when a pink balloon slipped by on round 21. When I retried, it took another free road spike pile, then another one on round 22, another on 23, but at least I am getting the chance to farm right now, although I'm pretty worried about round 27, knowing that I even lost to it on an advanced map. Surprisingly though, it only took a few more free road spike piles to actually hold off the yellow balloons, and everything else wasn't an issue. Of course I had to get the white hot spikes for round 28, and I figured I should also get the even faster production upgrade while I'm at it. Then I was able to upgrade my second farm to a 2-0 before I immediately died because I wasn't paying attention. Believe it or not, I then proceeded to somehow do the exact same thing on the very next round. I gotta find a better system where I'm not always thinking about the script as I'm playing the game. But it's also crazy how much differently a round can go when you actually get good RNG from your Spectry instead of bad RNG. Since I know round 33 is easy, I took the time to buy a third farm before upgrading my Spectry to a 3-2. Now things are starting to get a little bit better. I was able to upgrade my third farm, get a second Spectry, and even get a fourth and fifth farm going as well. I kept a close eye on round 40, because I know the ceramics are going to be tougher, but the 2 Spectries were even able to handle them. I'm actually starting to get a bit of confidence about this right now, but usually that's when things go wrong for me, so let's see. On round 43 I had the most annoying loss ever, where I just barely didn't catch all these escaping balloons, and when I tried again, I was able to beat the round, but I had panicked and put a third Spectry in a dumb spot, so I sold it and moved it a whole 2 pixels over, which is obviously far superior. I actually lost to the Moab in the same annoying way, where I just barely didn't place down enough road spike piles to catch all the escaping balloons. Now I wasn't taking any more chances, so I just spammed them down this time, and I definitely wasted some road spike piles, but that's better than losing for the 10th time in the same way. Oh, speaking of which, guess what I did again on round 47? At this point, I'm done playing games, so I'm just gonna get a 4-3-2 Spectry before I even think about farming again. In fact, let me get a couple Moab Maulers while I'm at it. Now this is looking much better. And finally, I can start upgrading my farms once more. On round 53, I sold the Moab Maulers to avoid creating a regrow farm because I thought that round 54 was the one that had regrow rainbows instead of round 56. This is the kind of stuff a normal person would cut out of their videos, but I really want you to truly experience the brilliance of my mind. But thankfully, that mistake didn't cost me, and it wasn't long before I could get down my first banana factory, and then a second one to boot. I ended up dying on round 57, so I sold the 5th Spectry I had just gotten so that I could rebuy a Moab Mauler, and you can see this made a huge difference. I figured I should also get a few more of them with the BFB quickly approaching, and I was surprised when it actually went down without a fight. In anticipation of round 63, I got down a 4-2 balloon impact, but it's in a pretty terrible spot, so we'll see what happens. It looks like that's still going to be enough to slow down the first wave of ceramics, which gives me time to afford a second balloon impact up here, and yeah, round 63 went off without a hitch. I made the risky decision of investing in a couple more 3-0 farms before getting any more defense for round 65, and I know you expected me to say this was a mistake, but no, this time it actually paid off. And even though I'm playing on an extreme map, it's hard to pretend like I have much chance of losing at this point. Even if a super difficult round comes up and totally blows past my defense, I can always sell a banana factory for 28,000, which is like 100,000 in BTD6. I got a couple more balloon impacts before round 76, and I honestly couldn't even believe my eyes when I saw how easily that it was going down. The one thing I am curious about though, is what will happen when I have to face the ZOMGs at the very end. Is there gonna be enough time to destroy them? Well, I turned off auto start so that I could have more time to line the track with Moab Maulers, and by the time round 84 had rolled around, I amassed quite the army. I knew this was going to be powerful, but just like on round 76, I was surprised by just how powerful it actually is. You can barely even see the Moabs and BFBs. So now I'm thinking that 5 ZOMGs might be a bit tougher, but surely they're not going to make it all the way through. Well, oh boy was I wrong about that. So I retried and got some Moab Assassin abilities, which seemed to be doing pretty well, but to my surprise, this still didn't end up being enough to defeat everything. So then I sold a couple banana factories and got a spiked mines factory at the end of each path, along with getting a few more assassin abilities with my remaining money, and I was certain this would do it. But of course, I wouldn't be talking this way if that had been the case. So finally, I sold the rest of my banana factories, got 2 more spiked mines factories, a million more Moab assassins, and I made sure these ZOMGs were sorry that they were ever born in the first place. And yeah, that was enough to do it. Amazingly, I even ended the game with exactly $6,969, and if that doesn't deserve a like, I don't think I could ever earn one from you. And hey, now we know it's not only possible to beat BTD5 without monkeys, but you can even beat an advanced, expert, and extreme map all without their help.